Hey first grade families, it's Mrs. O'Hare. Sorry it's taken me so long. I miss you guys. I went to see Kevin this week and I haven't seen him since Christmas, so that was really nice. But I'm back for chapter 7 in Skinnybones. This chapter is called Hard-Boiled Egghead. Sometimes I wonder why I even bother to play baseball at all. I hate the uniforms, I can't throw, I don't like playing right field. Lately I've been giving it a lot of thought, and there's only one thing I can come up with. I play for the caps. Baseball caps are probably the greatest invention of all time. No matter what you look like, as soon as you put on a baseball cap, you automatically look like a ball player. A real ball player. I mean, Michael Cabrera or Mike Trout or Clayton Kershaw. I'm not kidding. Even my cat looks like a little Cabrera with the cat on. Once, just to prove my theory, I did a baseball cap experiment with my grandmother. My grandmother's about 80 years old, but she doesn't look like it. She doesn't need a cane or anything. She only wears glasses when she reads. One of the things I like best about my grandmother is her blue hair. It sort of reminds me of cotton candy. It reminds me of cotton candy. I'm not sure she really knows it's blue though. A few months ago at Sunday dinner, she told my mom she puts a little steel gray rinse in it. I started to tell her it looked a little more like robin eggs blue, but my mother shoved a roll in my mouth. Anyway, after we finished eating, I snuck up to my room and I grabbed my baseball cap. Then I crept behind my grandmother and put it on her head. Aha! Just as I had always suspected, she was a dead ringer for Buster Posey. Grandma wasn't a very good sport about it though. She yanked that cap off her head and threw it on the floor. Man, her blue hair, and was her blue hair ever a mess. Now she looked like Don King, that boxing promoter guy. I tried to help her smooth it, but she swatted my hand away. Not before I noticed the bald spot though. Right at the top of her head. Grandma had a little bald spot. I offered to let her put my cap on to hide it, but she left the table in a huff. I knew exactly how she felt. My barber, Mr. Peoples, he has given me more bald spots than I can even count. I'll never forget the time that he made my head look like a cue ball. Looking back, it was probably my own fault though. As soon as I walked in his shop that day, it was obvious that Mr. Peoples was not in a good mood. And it's well known that when barbers are feeling down, they give kids funny haircuts to cheer themselves up. That's why I always try to find out how Mr. Peoples is feeling before I sit down in the chair. But on this particular day, it didn't do me any good at all. Hello, Mr. Peoples, I said pleasantly. How are you doing today? Arthritis acting up? Problems with the wife? Mr. Peoples frowned. Get in the chair, Alex. I'm tired, my feet hurt, and I'm not in the right mood for your jokes. Right away, I started backing out of his shop. Okie dokie, well, nice chatting with you, Mr. P. I think I hear my mom calling me from the parking lot. I'll come back another day when your feet are feeling better. Mr. Peoples pointed to the chair. Sit, he ordered. Mr. Peoples has known me since I was 2 years old. He feels very comfortable bossing me around like that. I hesitated. I don't know, Mr. Peoples. Are you sure? Are you positive you want me to sit down? Because if you're upset about something, I would be happy to leave you alone to gather your thoughts. This time, his face got totally red. I said sit, he blustered. Nervously, I climbed into the big vinyl seat. A man holding scissors is not a man to mess around with. Well, okay then, Mr. Peoples, but I really don't need a big haircut today. Mostly, I just need a little trim. Just a little bit off the sides, that's all. Mr. Peoples didn't hear a word I said. He was too busy plugging in his electric clippers. No, wait, Mr. Peoples, I said quickly. I really don't think you'll be needing clippers today. I just need a trim, remember? His mood wasn't getting any better. Who's the barber here, Alex? You or me? That's when I decided to be quiet. If there's one thing I don't want to do, it's make a guy even grouchier than he already was. Mr. Peoples took his scissors and began snipping at my hair. No, wait, snipping is the wrong word. The word was hacking. Mr. Peoples started hacking at my hair. Whoa, you're really going to town there, aren't you, Mr. P? It's getting kind of short, don't you think, I asked? That's when Mr. Peoples picked up the clippers and began buzzing all around the back of my head. Before I had a chance to protest, he was already heading up towards my left ear, and then all of a sudden he stopped cold. Why do you think he stopped cold? Whoopsie, he said. My stomach lurched over the inside of me. All of the words you don't ever want to hear come out of your barber, of all the words you don't want to hear come out of your barber's mouth, whoopsie is right at the top. Whoopsie? Did you say whoopsie, Mr. Peoples? Whoopsie, as in a mistake has just occurred up there? I looked in the mirror and I turned my head. That's when I saw the whoopsie. It was a large, round, bald spot right over my left ear. Mr. Peoples brushed the area lightly with his fingers. Looks like this haircut might be a bit shorter than you wanted it, Alex, but at least it'll be nice and cool for summer. My eyes opened wide. For the summer, I said. The summer? This is March, Mr. Peoples. Summer is still months away. Mr. Peoples nudged me with his elbow and grinned. That's my point. Get it? Even months from now, that haircut will still be nice and cool. He began to chuckle. Already, he had cheered himself up a ton. He started those clippers again. More? I said, feeling sick. Well, we can't leave it like this, can we? He said. Get her up, right? Gotta even her up, right? I couldn't stand to look anymore, so I just covered my eyes with my hands and waited until he was finished. After circling my head with the clippers for like about 20 more times, he finally shut them off. Slowly, I opened my eyes. No, it couldn't be. My hair was totally gone. Totally. I mean, I looked like a hard-boiled egg with a face. I could barely speak. Well, what do you think? Said Mr. Peoples. What do I think about what? About your hair. What do you think about your hair? He said cheerfully. Stunned, I gazed at all my hair lying around the ground on the floor. I think it looked better on my head. That's what I think. Mr. Peoples chuckled some more as he got the broom to sweep it up. I panicked. No, wait, don't, I shouted. I jumped down from the chair and I started picking up clumps of hair, trying to stick them back on my head. I stuffed the rest in my pocket for later reattachment. Mr. Peoples laughed again. By now, he was his regular old jolly self. You kill me, boy, he roared, and then he held out his hand for money. I slapped $10 down on the counter and ran home as fast as I could. My mom met me at the door. Look what that man did to me, I screamed. Look it, he's insane, I tell you, insane. Mom covered her mouth with her hand. It was very clear she was trying not to laugh in my face. The good thing about hair, Alex, is that it always grows back. Yeah, well, that might be the good thing about hair, Mother, but exactly what is the good thing about no hair? Finally, my mom started to lose it and hurried out of the room. No, don't go. I need your help, I called. A minute later, I was back wearing sunglasses. I apologize, but the glare coming off your balding... I'm sorry, no, I said that wrong. A minute later, she was back wearing sunglasses. I apologized, but the glare coming off your head was blinding, she said with a straight face. That's not funny, Mom. Not funny, I blurted. That's when I remembered it. My baseball cap. I had to find my baseball cap. I flew down the hall to my room. Please, please, just let it be where I can find it, I prayed. I opened up my closet door. Yes, for once I had remembered to put it back on the hook where it belonged. Quickly, I put it on my head. It fell down over my eyes, but after adjusting the back strap, I looked in the mirror. What a relief! I look like a cross between Mike Trout and Andrew McCutcheon. I'm telling you, baseball caps are the invention of the century. Now, if only baseball caps could make me hit home runs like Mike Trout, everything would be perfect. I guess you can say that hitting a home run is a dream of mine. I don't think it'll ever come true, though. It's pretty hard to hit a home run when all you can do is bunt. Bunt. I always thought that was such a dumb word. The first time I heard it used, I was only 7 years old. The kid on my baseball team was on his way up to the bat, and before he left the bench, he turned around to me and said, I think I'm just going to bunt. At first, I had no idea what he was talking about. Whatever it was, it didn't sound good. I sat there trying to figure it out, and then out of nowhere it clicked. Bunt. Wait a minute. Wait a second. That's another word for puke. Oh no, that poor kid is sick and no one knows. Quickly, I got off the bench and ran over to the coach. Coach, I think Danny Petrillo is going to start bunting any minute, he said frantically. The coach nodded calmly. That's okay, Alex. Don't worry about it. I told him to bunt. Okay, now I was really confused. Why in the world would the coach tell a player to hurl? Was this some strange baseball rule I hadn't heard of? Were you allowed to throw up and run to first? Was he hoping to catch the other team off guard or something? Oh, geez, I hoped he wouldn't tell me to bunt too. I tugged on his shirt. Listen, coach, I don't think I could bunt even if I wanted to. I don't feel very good today. I feel very good today. Plus, I haven't eaten dinner yet. The coach looked at me kind of strange and told me to go sit down. I went back to the bench and watched the kid at bat. When the ball came, he took his bat, held it sideways in front of him. I figured that he was just trying to get it out of the way so he wouldn't bunt on it. Sorry, guys. And since I was next to bat, I thought that was a considerate thing to do. But instead of getting sick, the kid took the bat and tapped the ball toward the third base. And then he ran as fast as he could, and he made it to first base in plenty of time. Great, yelled the coach. Great bunt, Danny. I nudged the kid next to me. I didn't see it. I didn't see him bunt. Did he do it in the grass? Where is it? Where's what? I asked. You know, the bunt. Where's the bunt? Weren't you watching? He asked. He bunted the ball down the third base line, and then he ran to first. Suddenly, I knew what a bunt was. Man, did I ever feel like an idiot. Thank goodness no one ever knew what I had been talking about. Anyway, from that day on, I started working on my bunting. It just seemed like the perfect skill for a kid my size. And now, after 4 years of practice, I'm probably one of the best bunters in the entire Little League. It's not the kind of thing that gets you any respect, though, but it's something. Sometimes Brian helps me practice bunting at recess. Last week, TJ saw us and came strolling over. Bunting is for wimps, he announced loudly. I ignored him. Any kid with half a muscle can hit a ball for real. Still, I ignored him. Oops, I forgot. You don't have half a muscle, do you, Skinnybones? He said. He grinned meanly. Hey, I just thought of something. Only runts bunt. Get it? Get it, Alex? I made a poem. That's when I decided to stop ignoring him. What do you think he's going to do? Brian tossed me another ball. I held the bat steady until the very last minute, and then I turned it sharply and directed the ball straight at TJ's head. Whoa! Sorry, TJ, I said. Man, it seems like all I've been doing lately is accidentally hitting you with baseballs. Geez, it's a good thing they keep hitting you in the skull, otherwise you might get hurt. For the millionth time in my life, TJ shoved me to the ground and sat on top of me. He was smirking like crazy. We'll just see how good you are when you bunt on Saturday, funny guy, he said. For a second, I didn't know what he was talking about, and then all of a sudden, I remembered. Saturday was the day our Little League teams were scheduled to play each other. Wonderful. Now I've gone and made him mad. I closed my eyes. Way to go, Alex. You've done it again. I will read another chapter in just a sec.